Ah, Mr. Perrin, how lovely to see you. How's the new house? You enjoying it? Am I am I enjoying it? No, absolutely not. Oh, really sorry to hear that. What's uh what's the problem? Oh, where do I start really? Well, first the dog didn't want to come into the house, and then yeah, the next day found it dead outside. Oh, got pigeons flying into the house and dying. Hmm. My whole family's terrified. My wife keeps waking up with no more bruises, which aren't caused by me. Before you say anything, oh, there's constant slamming of doors and loud banging at night. I mean, yeah, can't get any sleep. No, I mean that does sound awful, obviously, but I mean I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably just a demon. Sorry, what? Yeah, it's probably just a demon. I mentioned a demon, didn't I? I mentioned a demon that lives in your house. Hmm. Did you mention a demon? Probably not. No. If you had, I probably wouldn't have bought the house. So no, you definitely didn't mention a demon. Nah. No, I mentioned a demon. I definitely mentioned a demon. Everyone. Why do you think the house is so cheap? Everyone that lives there knows about the demon. Everyone knows about the demon. I definitely told you about the demon. No, no, you didn't tell me about the demon, and I want my money back. I want to back out this deal. That's it. You signed the paperwork though, didn't you? You definitely signed the paperwork, and I'm fairly sure I mentioned demon. But either way, that document, those contracts, they're ironclad. You're not getting out of the house. Are you serious? Right. What do I do? Well, if you can't live with the demon, then well, I've got a number for a couple of people who I've got a number for the church. Do you want to speak to the church? Yes, I want to speak to the church. Just get me the number for the church. I'll do that. I mean, I can't keep going on like this. I don't really know what the problem is, to be fair. I mean, all right, I'll get you the number for the church, but it's not going to possess your wife and try and kill you all, though, is it? Mm. So, The Conjuring is a movie that was released in 2015, starring Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, directed by James Wan. Now, this movie is the very first movie in the Conjuring universe and centres around Ed and Lorraine Warren, two well-renowned paranormal investigators. Lorraine being a psychic medium and Ed being a demonologist. They have built a career around going and investigating documented paranormal incidents that have taken place in certain locations, and this is one of their cases. The first thing we really see about this case is that it is based on a true story, which for me, as someone who does believe in paranormal incidents, does hit me quite hard really with regards to the horror element of this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I know how movies work. I dare say that a lot of the details in this are embellished and exaggerated, but it still does. I mean, the whole feel of it being based on true events, no matter where that source comes from, it does sort of add to that horror element in this movie. But the movie begins with Ed and Lorraine investigating the whole case of the Annabelle doll, which does get brought into spin-off films as well. And it just basically presents Annabelle as being a host for a demonic entity that is plaguing the family. It starts off with introducing that artifact, which then ultimately ends up in the Warrens Museum at their home address and is kept in a locked cabinet with the words positively do not open for any reason. And I mean, when you look at the doll, I can't think of any reason why you would want to hold that in any way, shape, or form. But that's the introduction we get of the Warrens. And before we then see the caption about who they are and the fact that this whole story is based on a true story. It's here that we actually get into the actual movie itself, and we're introduced to the Perrin family who move into a new home, and straight away you know that things aren't quite right with the fact that the dog doesn't want to go into the house. Dogs are documented as being sensitive towards sort of paranormal entities that may be festering inside the house. And so straight away, that is a red flag. And if I was in that position, there would be no way I'd be going into that house if my dog was so adamant about not going inside, because I'd be questioning what exactly is going on here. But the paranormal entity that's inside the house, it slowly gets stronger and stronger. You do see little hints of it. The fact it's grabbing the kids in their sleep. There's sort of a horrible smell inside the house. The wife is waking up with more and more bruises every day, which can't be explained by any other reason. And eventually they do end up getting sort of outside help, which involves the Warrens going to investigate the whole case going on. And what we find as they start doing their investigation is that the demon ultimately gets stronger inside the house. And we learn that actually there was a witch that hung herself on the grounds and cursed the land around it, so that anyone going in there would essentially be open to being possessed, and the witch would possess the mother of the family and would then murder one of the children, which is ultimately the plot of this movie. And James Wan is just, how he does it, I don't know, but every single thing he touches is just gold. He builds up the tension in every single scene just so well, and there's no cheap jump scares, there's no cheap red herrings in this movie. It is just a case of building the audience up and up and up to the point where you're then conjuring up, no pun intended, conjuring up images of your own inside your own head about what could be coming up next, and almost breathe a sigh of relief when the scare does happen, because then you can then relax slightly. But this movie doesn't let you do that. It also does a very good job of not focusing purely on the Warrens. It builds up the background as to how they've come to be in a position where they're so desperate they need to ask for outside help. And I mean, initially, you do sort of almost see it from different people's point of view. You see that the dad isn't really around, and the first real sort of contact or first interaction he has with the idea that there's something else in the house is based on a reaction from his daughters and his wife inside. Whilst the mother is sort of having bruises sort of put on her, or is waking up with more and more bruises and can't explain where they come from, it's the daughters as well that are being terrorized by the entity in there, as well as the young girl having a young boy ghost that she's playing with as well. And with each little clue that's sort of dotted around the movie, you get that building sensation as well, that feeling that something is building. And yeah, when you do sort of see actually what it is that's the driving force behind it all, you're already scared anyway, to the point where there isn't really much else or anywhere further for you to go. It just tips you over the edge. And this is one of those movies that does stay with you after watching it. And the way that Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga play their characters is absolutely fantastic. Vera Farmiga sort of plays her role as obviously the psychic medium, but is very sensitive to everything that's going on inside the house. But you see her almost in shock and terror at what she sees when she first walks in. And you know full well that she's seen something, but it's trying to play off that there's nothing to worry about to try and keep the positive atmosphere in the house. It's only when she's alone with Ed that she reveals what she's seen, and it does flashback, and you see how her reaction actually does fit in with the reality of what she has seen. And it's fantastic just how it builds everything into the background. And James Wan is always one to bring things into the background slowly, so it slowly sort of focuses into your vision and suddenly you see it without realizing. And yeah, I mean, he is just a master of his craft when it comes down to these horror movies. Patrick Wilson is very much the no-nonsense side of it, with the demonologist side of him. He does sort of explain the fact that whilst an exorcism is needed, he cannot be the one to conduct that because it's out of his control. But eventually his hand is forced where he does need to do it. And you do get the sense that they are out of their depth with this. It is a last chance saloon sort of scenario where they got no other option but to do everything they actually can to try and do it. And there is a risk that everything could go completely wrong and they make things 10 times worse, if not cause someone to die. And you that tension, that atmosphere is all there, and it's palpable. It's something that you feel as if you're in the room with them. And the movie does a really good job as well of explaining the background and delving into almost an investigative side of the way that the Warrens conduct their investigation throughout it. It's not just what they see at the house, but also the background information they manage to gather, all of the other information they are able to obtain to build up this bigger picture of why this is all happening as well and where it all originated from. And it's just really fascinating to watch it slowly come together and piece by piece. And then that's in between that, you see obviously the effects of what's happening at the house as well. All of that is absolutely fantastic. And overall, I don't really think there's much to criticize with this movie. It all really does come down to the fact of whether you do believe in this sort of thing or whether you don't. I think if you don't believe in this, it is just one of those movies. It's a standard horror movie for you, for like a cheap thrill, and you will still be affected by the sort of horror elements of it. But I think if you do believe in this sort of thing, that it does hit you a lot harder than what it would do ordinarily. But in short, this movie does everything that horror movies should do, especially a supernatural one. And I think, honestly, this is one movie that I can keep coming back to again and again and again, just to get that sort of scared sensation. So for me, it's a 4-star rating all day long. So that's my review of The Conjuring. What did you guys think about it? Have you seen it? Whatever you thought, please pop it in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will be back with another exploration of the next Conjuring movie. But until then, you guys take it easy and I'll catch you on the next one.